USXC Racing kicked off the 2019-2020 season at the annual stop on Pine Lake in Gonvick, Minnesota for the Gerald Dyrdahl Memorial Pine Lake 200. Saturday brought sunshine and temps below zero, but didn't slow down the racers from starting their season off right. The Pro Open qualifier took the first green on the lake with Zach Herfindahl and Matt Field laying down the first tracks, with Herfindahl putting down fast laps to win the qualifier and first pick heading into the final, with Polaris riders Travis Faust and Alex Teen finishing second and third. Then the Pro Open racers lined up for the heads-up final, with factory Arctic Cat Zach Herfindahl grabbing the hole shot and leading the way until Herfindahl had a crash midway through the race, giving fellow Cat racer Wes Selby the lead after blowing up his sled in the qualifier and starting in the back row. Selby made some quick passes in the first lap, moving up to third, then eventually to the lead, building a sizable gap, cruising to the checkers ahead of Alex Teen and Justin Tate on their Polarises. On to Sunday, where Mother Nature threw everything she could at the racers with flat light, cold temps, snowy, and windy conditions for day number 2. Pro 600 qualifying kicked off with Polaris rider Aaron Christensen finding his groove on Pine Lake, laying down the quickest time in the race, giving him the number 1 pick into the final, with Zach Herfindahl and Wes Selby following. In the semi-pro classes, local racer Gunnar Arlo was the man of the day, sweeping both the semi-pro 600 and improved classes by marginal times and looked unstoppable on his Arctic Cat 4-stroke. Arctic Cat was able to sweep the semi-pro 600 class podium as well, with Dustin Swan and Dylan Stevens finishing second and third. Following in his family's footsteps, Bo Bunky was able to take home the Sport 600 class win on his Polaris, while Leah Bauer took home the win in the women's class after missing most of last season to an ACL injury. Then it was time for the Pro 600 final to determine who would get a $10,000 paycheck and their name engraved on the Gerald Dyrdahl Memorial Trophy. Wes Selby grabbed the hole shot on the heads-up start, leading until lap 3 when Chad Leon on his 4-stroke Arctic Cat cruised into the lead and started to gap the field. Top qualifiers Aaron Christensen and Zach Herfindahl battled for second position majority of the race until Herfindahl and race leader Leon took their mandatory fuel stops on lap 6, giving Christensen the lead, but still yet to take on fuel, hoping to build a decent gap to keep him in front until lap 7. The Polaris racer took his fuel stop, but it wasn't enough as Leon and Herfindahl passed by with Selby in tow. Then the last 2 laps were an all-out battle as Herfindahl gained a lot of ground on Leon and made it interesting until the checkers, but it was no match for the Arctic Cat 4-stroke on the long straightaways, with Chad Leon taking the big win over Zach Herfindahl. Wes Selby was able to get around Aaron Christensen for third on the last lap to round out the podium. USXC Racing will resume racing in Park Rapids on January 18th and 19th. USXC Racing would like to wish everyone a safe and enjoyable happy holidays.